Hello guys, welcome back to the Profit Manage channel. My name is Alex, and before we start, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to this channel to not miss out on any of this type of content. So let's get straight into the chart, guys. Today we have a little bit of to talk about. In this video, I actually want to speak about something very important. Um, and the way that I want to frame this is this. Okay. Um, First and foremost, guys, I'm extremely bullish. Okay, I'm extremely bullish in the market, altcoins wise, at least. Okay, altcoins wise, I'm extremely bullish. Um, but there is something that you must pay attention to. Okay, and as a trader, you want to adapt to what the market is going to show you. And one of the things that I've been talking about for pretty much in every single video that I made is the C19 trend line, which you guys can see. It's over here on the total one chart, and I will speak about every single chart in a second year. Here, for example, we got the orders chart, okay, to which we are a lot closer to this C19 trend line. Another chart where we have it pretty close is the total two chart. Okay, so you guys can see it that based on where we currently are, it's not that far away. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because, well, next week it marks the 6-year anniversary of when C19 was marked and declared a pandemic. Okay, and that is precisely on March 11th. Why is this so important? Well, it's the 6-year anniversary, and I believe, and this is something that I actually speak quite a lot to premium. I believe that the market moves in a very ritualistic manner. Okay, there's a lot tied, especially when it comes to cryptocurrencies, guys. I personally feel like there is quite a lot behind the scenes that if you were to go and decipher, you could potentially call things way ahead of time. Okay, before it happens. When it comes to the number six, when it comes to Freemasonry, Illuminati, and whatnot, it is a very important number. Okay, that is very much tied with rituals. Here you can see, for example, this person. I don't know which famous person this one is making that six and symbolism on his eye. I'm not necessarily speaking about the fact that is placing the and sign on his eye. That's another meaning. I'm just speaking about the number six. Here we got Drake. Um, where is it? Another representation of this number that I was talking about. Dark symbolism, as you guys can see right now. Another number six. Six. Here we got Drake doing it once again. I think you guys get the point. It's a very important number. So when I see these charts, right, being so close to that particular trend line, I pay attention. Okay, and you know, I been saying that, look, I'm overall very bullish in the market, but I must also mention that, there is an underlying risk that we could potentially see a very quick wipe, potentially next week. Okay, and hit this particular trend lines because in the previous videos, which if you guys haven't already, make sure to go and subscribe so you don't miss any of this content right here. And if you guys want to learn more about the way that I do my technical analysis, then you have a playlist right here under Mentorship 2025. And here you're able to learn a little bit for free of what I do and the way that I trade the markets. But if you want to learn more about the esoteric side of things and the way that I trade, then you, of course, have to go to the Discord right here. If you guys want to see my portfolio, my coins, how much I've invested in each coin, my entry prices, and you want to get all of my trades and exit signals, then check out the link down below. You can subscribe to our premium group. This is going to be the best deal that you can get right now. The prices will go up very soon. We want to lock in as many people as possible before the old season starts, because once the old season starts, guys, it will be too late and it will be time to sell, not to buy. So make sure to join Profit Manage as soon as possible. Get in, secure your spot, and make this your life-changing cycle. Moving on, so let's talk about the charts. So first and foremost, the USD dominance chart. Guys, I gave you this projection in the last video. This video right here, I pretty much showed you guys this projection right here where I said expect to see a breakdown, push to the upside, and that's kind of where you want to see as a retest before we see the continuation to the downside on the USD dominance chart, aka the push to the upside. But I also said in the video, if you go back and watch it, I said that you don't want to long stuff in the market until you actually see price reversing back down, because here is a decision area. It's not necessarily a reversal area. I never said that. I said that this is a decision point, decision making point, okay, in the chart. What does that mean? What that means is that yes, we could push to the downside, and the charts do suggest, and my technical analysis does suggest that that could be the case, but it's also a point from where, you know, if we were to reclaim into the upside, that's kind of the point I was making in the last video. This could be the point where you actually hold as a support and you push to the upside, and you then go for the new all-time high on the SWAN dominance chart. That will be, right, black swan event pretty much at this moment in time. What you gotta realize is this. Look, we are already went through, you know, most of this move to the downside. This is not beginning now. It has been happening since October, since the all-time high. Okay, so it's not like we have much more downside to have to go. And even in the C19 situation, if you think about it, you know, it's not like this was the highest point that we were at. Okay, the highest point was actually achieved in 2019. Okay, and then we had a prolonged move to the downside, push to the upside, and then we finally corrected and we went for the kill. We pretty much went and made the bottom very quickly. But if you consider that, right, the bottom, the previous bottom at least, was right here. You know, this was from bottom to bottom a 40% move. But if you look at it from, you know, where it actually started to go down fast, that's a 58% move. If you look at it from the last swing high, that's a 63% move. So the point I'm trying to make, and here is actually even better in my opinion in this particular cycle, that I don't think that there's going to be that much of a difference between where we are bottom now and where we are potentially going to the downside. And I will speak about why this is potentially the case, where there is a chance, okay, chance is the key word here, that we could actually break down and go for the kill, okay? If you look at it from the swing high, it's 22%, but if you go from bottom to bottom, assuming that we bottom at 57K, that's a 4% move from the bottom that we made, okay? So I'll show you guys why I think that there is a possibility. Well, not only because of we actually approaching this date, and it's a quite symbolic date, okay? To be completely honest, that's something that you gotta pay attention to. At least I pay attention to it. Then we will see together if it's something that you should just neglect, or if it actually has some weight behind it. Okay, we will see with time. But you see, dominance chart, guys, it's a key point. Okay, it actually went to my trailing from here, rejected. So far, so good, to be honest. Okay, we could definitely see the push to the downside. Happy days. That's where we begin to see a decent move to the upside. That could definitely be the case. However, let's see what the other charts are suggesting. 223 minus Solana and BNB so far. It's still holding support, but you know, it's actually showing quite a bit of weakness here. Okay, and because we have had this wick right here, you know, and you know, it's a pretty big wick, and big wicks tend to be recovered. You know, look at the size of this wick right here. We recovered it. Of course, this is nowhere near as big as the one in October, but at the same time, it's a pretty decent wick, especially compared to these recent candles. So there is a good chance that we could actually recover it and push down lower. Move on to the total 2 chart. Here, your current level of support is 915 to 911. That's a bullish trending channel. Okay, so you got some support here, but okay, if you lose it, okay, yes, you do have a little bit of support at around 897 billion. You do have that, okay, but if you were to lose it, okay, if you were to lose it, guys, this is the C19 trend line. And one thing that you will notice, especially as we go into this sort of chart, this sort of layout right here, is that the C19 trend line is specifically closer to the total 2 and the other chart. This is very important, guys, because what did I always say? That I was bullish on what? Altcoins. I never said that I was bullish on Bitcoin. I said in previous videos that I think that Bitcoin has stopped. And that is something that you gotta understand. Why is it closer on the total 2 charts and the orders chart, but not the total 1 and the total 3? Well, because the total 1 has Bitcoin in it, okay? And the total 3 also has altcoins that are like XRP, Solana, BNB, and so on that have outperformed the rest of the market in terms of altcoins, at least, right? So I don't necessarily expect them those coins to surpass once again majority of the altcoins in terms of ROI. I think that in terms of ROI, the altcoins that are underperformed are the ones that are going to be doing the best at this moment in time. And because they are already so close to this particular trend line, it's a lot more likely that they will, reach support quicker. If we were to see the breakdown, all did a lot better than a lot of other things, and I think that they may actually kickstart the bull swing. We will see it together, but let's go on the contrarian layout, which is this one right here, the total 1 chart. So the total 1, as you guys can see, the C19 trend line is right here. Okay, it's currently pointing down to $1.47 trillion. If the alignment is correct, well, not perfectly, but pretty much the same level. Yeah, 1.48, give or take. But there's still a lot of support. Yeah, it's pretty much, if you lose 2.28, then yeah, you got 206, right? That's a pretty steep drop. If you were to go down to the C19 trend, I'm not saying it's impossible. That's a 35% move. Okay, if you were to look at something like the total 2 chart, we don't have a 35% move in the cards. What does that mean? That even if we were to see the C19 trend on the total 1 chart, that Bitcoin will suffer the most compared to altcoins, and you will see that in a second here. If you go on the total 2 chart, the C19 trend line only resides 13% away from where we are currently. From the bottom, that's a 5% move to the downside. So I think that it's more of the scare that it's potentially about to come, rather than the real, distance that we're going to travel to the downside. I think that it's going to be one of those situations, and then I will explain why it makes sense and why today I've actually closed all of my my swing longs on Involio. I was asked why did I do it. You guys will understand why in a second. But before I do that, make sure to go and follow me on Involio. That's at involio.com/alextrades. You can follow me there, and you can also create a new account using the link down below in the description, completely free. Okay, it's a social media for investors and traders. That's where you can create your portfolio. You can mimic other traders and whatnot. You can also mimic me, of course, and yeah, that's where you do it. Moving on, so total 2. Okay, so why am I looking to the downside more now? Well, because to be completely honest, unless something changes, you've actually failed to see the breakout here. This is the W formation that I was talking about, but this, we shouldn't have really found resistance here on this particular trail, and we ended up finding resistance here. Okay, in the last 2 candles, we actually found resistance, and now we're going back down to push it towards $881 billion. That is your level of support, but that is very close to the low. And if you lose that, which I think that is pretty probable at this point, you're looking at 809 billion, and that is the C19 trend line, guys. That is the C19 trend line. So in the previous videos I said, look, if we could, okay, if we could get down into this region, I would very much prefer us to do so, because we are already so close to it. We could get it over with, and from there onwards we just look to the upside. But it's also worth mentioning that I've also said that I believe that the bottom is was going to be in before February 17th. Of course, if we were to go a little bit lower now, then I may have got it in wrong, and I may have not been super precise. But at the same time, if we bottom at 809 and we currently bottom at 852, I think that would be a pretty close call. Okay, but besides that, if the bottom is in for now, okay, the thing is this: if the bottom is in for now, yes, we can push to the upside. Yes, we could make a new all-time high, but at the same time, I'm still looking for the push to the downside. Instead, here, if we are actually going to be having something happening next week because of this, okay, well, if that is the case, then even in the situation where we push up and then we push back down, we are looking for an higher low from there. I'm no longer looking for a low, right? So that's kind of what's at play at this moment. And the structure wise, how are bottoms formed? You either get a W formation, which is kind of what I've depicted here, or what you could potentially see is an inverse head and shoulder formation. Okay, that looks like this pretty much, where you got your left shoulder, neck. Sorry, left shoulder, neck, head. Sorry, head. Right shoulder, and then push to the upside, and then you see the pullback, and then a continuation to the upside. Because we have failed to break out, it's signaling to me, okay, that something else is happening. And as a trader, I have to adapt to what I see. So I prefer to cut my losses short and prepare for the move to the upside and to the downside, sorry, and then prepare for the move to the upside by upping back into my longs. Because the way that I'm seeing it, if I were to be stubborn about it and say no, I must marry my idea, and then the market moves down, I will feel like an idiot because I saw it coming and then I didn't take any action. So at this moment, I prefer to cut my losses short. I see that there's a very good chance that we could proceed to the downside here before we see any upside. Once the bottom is in and once the trend line is hit, guys, to me, there's nothing more that I really have to look to the downside. From there onwards, I'm longing everything that I see, and that's the reality of it, guys. Total 3. So here, for example, W formation, it failed to break out. Sure, it can still find support here, push to the upside, but even in the push to the upside, if you cannot get above this level, you have no actual breakout. Okay, so ideally I want to see this happening before we got into this type of situation. Getting into the situation now, guys, it's not a good idea. It's not a good sign. It's really not, because there's a very good chance now that we could potentially, yeah, sure, we could wick fish here, push back up, but then inevitably break. And once you break, we're pushing down to at least $610 billion here, minimum. And that is on a third trend line touch. That doesn't even touch the C19 trend line. On the total 3, which it's one of those where I doubt that it happens, but if it happens, it's going to be a lot more drastic. So you're going to see coins like XRP, Solana, BNB suffer the most when it comes to altcoins, because it's the one that pretty much have the most capital at this point, right? Other coins that perform better than most coins, right? If we were to see a push down to around 610 or so, at this moment it's aligned to 615, so I'm just going to be taking this for an example. That will be around a 12% move from where we are right now. Pushing down to this trend line, well, from the bottom to this trend line, it's 4.61%. Now, if we were to go to the C19 trend line here, that's a 27% move. From the bottom, the current bottom that is, that's a 21% move, okay? So that's a pretty steep drop, okay? Even compared to where we have currently bottomed. So I don't know. I'm not entirely sure about the total 1 and total 3. I do see a case for where they don't necessarily have to do that on these two particular charts. But if we go and look at the orders chart, just like the total 2, guys, the orders chart is so very close to the C19 trend lines. I said this before. In this orders chart, there is a lot of confidence down into this region that it just doesn't make sense for us to not hit it. That's why I always said, look, if we don't hit it now, we will hit it later. Okay, I've had this rejection right here. Now I edited it because I record for premium before I recorded this video right here for you guys. But if the bottom is in, I was still expecting to see a push to the upside and then another correction. The only difference, guys, now is if we were to push down right now, which is kind of what I'm favoring at this point, especially because of how long it's taking for us to see any important move to the upside. The only difference that there is that we finally got it over with. We pushed down into this area. We found the bottom anywhere between 145 to even 125 ish. Just kind of adding an alert here as well. You find your bottom, you push back up, and then on the next correction, you make a higher low. Okay, and before you know it, we are setting ourselves up to go significantly higher on the altcoins. Okay, but it's a matter of getting it over with. Moving on. Speaking about Bitcoin, so Bitcoin here, it pretty much stopped pretty much where I have this level of resistance. I gave you guys these levels. Okay, it's actually a lot more neat on the Bitstamp chart. Okay, it's the same exact values, I think. But it's a lot more neater here. You guys can see that, short wick fishing. I mean, it's the same story here on Kraken, to be honest. Not that big of a change, but so here I was looking for at least 77.7k. We didn't get it. This is a very nasty candle, guys, on the weekly. Don't get me wrong. Wicks of this nature tend to be recovered. I mean, look, big wick right here recovered. Big wick right here recovered. Wicks to the upside recovered. Big wicks right here recovered. Wick right here, well, this one, big wick right here recovered, so and so on. So it will get recovered, but it's also worth mentioning that we also got a nasty wick right here. That by the looks of this, right, this situation could actually sort of reverse back down very quickly. We didn't even get to 77.7. We actually stopped at my first level of resistance, and we had a nasty rejection from it. Okay. So this is not the best sign out of what I would want to see at this moment for me to be holding longs. Okay, that's why I prefer to close them. Your current level of support, guys, as of this week is 54.8. From next week, guys, it's pretty much 55k. Okay, so even here I should probably fix it. Where is it? 55 and 185. Let's just put this 55 and 185. Yeah, something like this. That's kind of what I'm thinking before a long. Okay, it's kind of those levels that I'm watching for here. Okay, that's where I will want to reposition for a long. Here I prefer to close at a slight profit. Okay, because there's a very good chance that even though you're on this Bitcoin chart, to be completely honest, we did see a breakout, okay? Because W formation pushed to the upside, and technically this is a retracement in preparation for higher. Technically speaking, this is the formation. But the level of support that you got right now is this bullish trending channel. And losing this bullish trending channel, guys, is not a good sign at all. It generally isn't. Of course, there's still 6 hours and 21 minutes left out of this day, but I mean, look at this candle, guys. I don't think that it's looking too good. Simple as, okay? And because we already touched this trend for the third touch, it's not going to be holding support once again, okay? So let me just remove in front of you guys this projection at this moment, and we will reassess at a better moment. Of course, now, of course, if this candle right here closes back above out of a miracle and then we are 70K, then I was probably shaken out. Push to the opposite is likely. But even there, right, there is still some risk. And at this moment, it's not really looking like that is going to be the case. This is something that feels like escalation. If you think about it, C19, for example, so C19 was the outbreak, for example, began in December 2019, and the World Health Organization declared the outbreak an emergency on January the 30th. Okay, but it became a full blown pandemic by March 11th. So what I'm trying to say here is this: you're getting all sorts of narrative, right? Of World War III. You guys are seeing the situation that is happening right now in the Middle East, right? And to me, how it feels is like just like how Scene got started before something major happened, which in terms of what happened 6 years ago, was a declaration of a pandemic. To me personally, it feels like something may escalate next week. Okay, it doesn't have to be again. It doesn't have to be perfectly on March 11th. But something next week is kind of what I'm looking for here. The energy is there. The charts are kind of showing it. You know, what are you going to do, right? Are you just gonna sit there and watch? I don't marry my trades. I don't. Okay, so if it starts to look bad, I must take action. Okay. So moving on. So Solana, I also closed my long here, to be honest. So did this see a breakout? Yes. Is this one of the best structures? To be honest, no. This could also create one of those situations where you have your left shoulder, then you have your head, right shoulder, push to the upside, and before you know it, inverse head and shoulder, and then it starts to push to the upside. We could potentially be making something like this now. So I prefer to get out of the way at this moment. We will see if I made the right decision or not, but I'm doing things based on what I'm currently seeing. Okay. Um, well, in terms of deviation, that is, of course. I've seen a deviation. I must take a action on it. Bitcoin dominance. So here we did not hit this level just yet. Okay, I think that especially if I go on the daily, you see a little bit better. We are currently having a rejection. But the way that I see is that it's very likely, guys, that we will hit this trend line next week, because it's pointing down. At some point, we're going to be making contact with this trend line. And if we get an escalation of something next week, and especially if we get a significant dump, this is going to push to the upside, even into the bearish trend line channel. So I think that if we get a significant move next week, that will actually be marking the end of this, price action for the Bitcoin dominance, and afterwards we will actually, in my opinion, prepare to see the push to the downside, and that's kind of what the altcoins need for them to push to the upside. Ethereum. So I've actually closed this long as well. I don't like the way that it's acting right here. This breaker has become weaker and weaker. Yes, it's holding as a support. We're still in this region, but technically from a breaker, what do you want to see? Instant rejection, instant reaction, change in trend. This is signaling weakness. Okay, so my next point to long, guys, is going to be around $1,616. Okay, I think I've been saying that level for some time now. I said it before. It's not like part of a new plan. If we go lower, I'll just long again. Okay, I'll just do that. Okay, so I'm actually going to be shifting this a little bit more, not like this. Shift this to make it more aligned. Yeah, that's around 16 and 21 or so. As of this particular week. Next week we're looking at, yeah, somewhere around this level. So you guys know what I'm talking about here. So I'll actually push this a little bit more just so I can get the alert in time. But yeah, this is the C19 trend line, guys. Okay, so there is a lot of weight on this trend. I think that this is what price needs, okay, to make a decent push to the upside at this moment. We went up to my level of resistance perfectly, 2,194. We went up $4, as you guys can see right here. From there onwards, we instantly reject. What does that tell you? It's very weak. Okay, that's what it's telling you. Last but not least, total 3 minus Solana, BNB, XRP, USDT, and USDC. So major rejection here as well. Fail to see the breakout. You know, why would I hold the longs? Why would I hold the longs at this moment? Rejection from here. I edited the position of this label to fit today's candle because I made the update before, as I said, for the premium. You know, last 2 days perfectly hit this level as a resistance. We tried yesterday as well, rejected. You know, look at this chart. I mean, how can I be bullish at this moment? I'm looking for 190 to 189 billion dollars as my level of support, and that's where I want to be longing the cut of everything. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you guys understand why I'm maneuvering in a certain manner, and let me know your thoughts. Where are you guys does it make sense? What are you guys doing? Are you guys buying? Are you guys selling? Are you guys longing? Are you guys shorting? Let me know what you guys are doing. I'm very curious to know. I'll see you guys later. Peace.